What if I told you that in the late 19th century, amid the gaslit streets and spiritual fervor, a single priest's gift turned into a curse that nearly consumed an entire community? It's the kind of hidden chapter in history that draws you in, promising revelations about the thin veil separating us from the beyond. Hold on to that spark of intrigue as we dive deeper. It's rare to uncover stories this raw, preserved like echoes in forgotten archives. In the bustling yet shadowed heart of Victorian Boston in 1875, where horse-drawn carriages clattered over cobblestone streets and the air hummed with the era's obsession with spiritualism, Father Declan raced through the fog-choked alleys behind St. Agnes Cathedral. His cassock whipped like a flag in surrender, a silver cross bouncing against his chest as he pursued a fleeting apparition, a ghostly woman whose translucent form had materialized during evening mass, her lips moving in silent pleas that only he could hear. "Wait! What do you seek?" he shouted, his voice hoarse from hours of unintended communion with the dead. This wasn't mere prayer. Declan's inexplicable ability to speak with departed souls had awakened months earlier during a routine confession where a penitent's whisper turned into a chorus of ethereal voices begging for release. Now, this ghost led him into danger, her urgency pulling him toward the city's outskirts, where abandoned houses loomed like silent sentinels. The pursuit felt like an epic odyssey of survival, each breath a battle against the encroaching chill that wasn't just the autumn wind. Declan had confided in Bishop Harlan, his stern mentor, who dismissed it as delusion born of overwork. But the priest knew better. The dead were restless, drawn to him like moths to flame. As he veered into a narrow street lined with decrepit row houses, the ghost vanished through a cracked door, compelling him to follow. Inside, the air reeked of mildew and decay, floorboards groaning underfoot. "Show yourself," Declan commanded, clutching his rosary, beads worn smooth from countless recitations. The room flickered with unnatural light, and there she was, a haunted soul, her dress tattered from a long-ago plague, murmuring of unfinished business. A hidden grave in the nearby forest, desecrated by grave robbers. That revelation chained into peril. As Declan absorbed her words, shadows stirred in the corners, coalescing into malevolent forms, spirits twisted by rage, perhaps victims of the same desecration. One lunged, its icy grip searing his arm like frostbite, forcing him to splash holy water from a vial tucked in his pocket. The liquid hissed on contact, buying him moments to flee back into the night. But the encounter had awakened something darker, a domino tipping toward chaos. Word of his gift spread through whispers in the confessional, drawing a young nun, Sister Alara, who arrived at the cathedral that very evening, her face pale with shared visions. "Father, the dead speak to me too. They say you're the key to their peace," she confessed, her teenage novices, twins named Liam and Nora, trailing behind with wide-eyed curiosity. Together, they formed an unlikely alliance, venturing into the forest under cover of darkness to locate the grave. The trees loomed like ancient guardians, branches intertwining to block the moon's gaze. Declan led, cross raised like a banner, while Sister Alara distributed sprigs of rue and vervain, herbs from the Malleus Maleficum tradition, smuggled from European texts, known to repel unholy presences. "Chew these for strength," she instructed, her voice a steady anchor amid the rustling leaves. The teenagers, protecting each other as siblings do, scanned the underbrush with lanterns, their youthful energy a fragile shield against the growing dread. Close your heart to the ordinary for a moment and sense the pulse of vulnerability. The way a group's bond can feel like the only lifeline in a sea of shadows. It's that shared resolve that often turns the tide in legends like this, reminding us how collective courage amplifies individual faith. As they delved deeper, the first major conflict shattered the night. A sudden storm brewed from nowhere, thunder cracking like divine fury, rain lashing down to turn paths into quagmires. Lightning revealed glimpses of ghosts, now dozens, circling like vultures, their forms flickering in the strobe. One towering shadow with hollow eyes attacked Declan, its tendrils wrapping his throat, squeezing with the cold of the grave. "You disturb our rest," it wailed, voice a cacophony of lost souls. Nora screamed, her cry piercing the gale, while Liam flung his lantern, the flame guttering but distracting the entity long enough for Declan to recite an exorcism prayer. Holy water streaming from his vial to create a steaming barrier. The shadow retreated, but the intensified, driving them toward a hidden cave mouth yawning in a hillside, the ghost woman's plea echoing, "Inside, the truth lies within." The cave's interior swallowed them, damp walls glistening like tears, the air thick with the scent of earth and eternity. Stalactites hung like fangs, and as they pressed on, the second twist unfolded with ruthless precision. Screams erupted from the depths, not echoes but fresh cries for help, mimicking the voices of the cathedral's parishioners, including Bishop Harlan himself. "Father, save us," they begged, luring the group deeper. Shadows detached from walls, manifesting as haunted souls, former priests, their robes spectral rags, eyes burning with accusation. "You speak for us, but at what cost?" one hissed, lunging at Sister Alara, claws raking her habit and drawing blood. Pain ignited her fury. She countered with her rosary, swinging it like a whip, beads glowing faintly as she chanted protective verses. Declan joined, forming a circle with the teenagers at the center. Group hunting tactics adapted from village lore against wolves, now against the ethereal. "Shield the young," he ordered, prioritizing Liam and Nora's safety, splashing holy water in arcs that sizzled and repelled. The assault chained forward. One soul possessed Liam momentarily, his body convulsing, forcing Declan to anoint him with herbs, the bitter scent clearing the invasion. Emerging from the cave battered but unbroken, they stumbled onto a forgotten penitentiary ruin on the forest's edge, a crumbling bastion from colonial days, its cells now tombs for restless spirits. The storm abated slightly, but the ghosts pursued, their numbers swelling. Inside the penitentiary's chapel, they found Bishop Harlan waiting, summoned by a frantic messenger from the cathedral. "Declan, this madness must end," he boomed, his presence a beacon of authority, yet his eyes betrayed fear. The group barricaded themselves, the bishop blessing fresh holy water from a font, while Sister Alara prepared herbal poultices for wounds. Feel the raw edge of desperation creeping in, that moment when every shadow seems alive with intent. It's the test of spirit that separates survivors from the lost, urging you to cling tighter to what grounds you. The third conflict exploded like pent-up wrath. From the altar of the chapel rose a horde of spirits, led by a demonic shadow, the amalgamated fury of dead souls wronged by a 19th century charlatan medium who had exploited them, his curse binding them to this realm. Thunder returned, shaking the stones, as screams blended into a deafening chorus of pleas and threats. The shadow attacked, engulfing Bishop Harlan in darkness, his cries turning guttural. Nora and Liam, terrified yet resolute, protected each other, flinging anointed stones that sparked on impact. Declan, heart pounding, realized his gift was the key and the trap. Speaking directly to the souls, he invoked their stories, validating their pain. "I hear you. Release your chains." Tension coiled to breaking. The climax surged into a vortex of life and death. The shadow demon fully manifested, a worthing colossus with faces morphing in its core, priests, nuns, innocents lost to time. It lashed out, tendrils piercing Declan's side, blood mingling with holy water as he staggered. Sister Alara thrust her cross forward, chanting in unison with the bishop, who broke free momentarily to join. "Together we banish you!" Declan roared, his voice amplified by the dead's echoes. The teenagers added their prayers, a chorus of defiance. In a desperate gambit, Declan poured the last of the holy water onto the altar, herbs igniting in a blaze that illuminated the entity. The group closed in, rosaries linked like a chain, driving the cross into its heart. The demon convulsed, souls peeling away like leaves in wind, their grateful whispers fading as the shadow imploded with a thunderous shriek that cracked the chapel walls. Dawn broke through the ruins, rays piercing the dust like forgiveness. Declan slumped against a pew, wound throbbing but spirit intact, as Sister Alara bandaged him with steady hands. Bishop Harlan, shaken, clasped his shoulder. "Your gift, it's a burden lifted." Liam and Nora embraced,